Hello, hello, everyone. Kathy Buccio here, host of Talk Shop Live. I'm really excited because our guest today is someone whose name you probably have heard, but today we're here to hear his side. He has a new book. Kevin Federline has lived life in the spotlight, dancer, performer, writer, father, and his new book takes us beyond that tabloid version that we so often hear about. You thought you knew. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us on Talk Shop Live.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So the first thing I want to mention to everyone who's watching, if you're on Talk Shop Live, you can get a signed copy exclusively here of Kevin's book. Make sure to hit that shop button. If you're watching on Instagram, you can purchase by going to the link in his bio to purchase your copy of the book. And like I said, we're just going to jump right in because it's it's been a while and you're finally speaking, and I feel like you talk about the book. You're very transparent, you're very raw, you're very, I think probably people have been waiting many years to hear your side and to speak. So why now?
Um, the time is everything, right? Especially for my kids, that's kind of been really the wait. And obviously, like, it was a toss up. I've always wanted to explain my story. A lot of emotions went into this, a lot of holding back, waiting for the right time, just because I really wanted my children to be old enough to understand why it is that I wanted to do this in the first place, right? Because I feel like for so long, so many people, media outlets, and all kind, there's just been so much talk about who I am, and I've never really confronted a lot of the things that have gone on, and I felt like this was now a perfect time, especially now that my kids are old enough to really get behind what it is that this book is about.
But I do have to ask you, I mean, how has it been for you not being able to speak and yet hearing and reading and seeing all the things that are often said about you and your family? I mean, as I said, it's been so many years and here you are now. And it's like, but what happened during that whole time? I mean, what were you going through?
It's been a lot, right? It's been like an emotional roller coaster of things that I could never prepare myself for in 1,000 years. And through that, like, I kind of chose to be quiet because I really wanted to focus on what was most important to me, which is my family,
Right.
and not trying to, what it really didn't matter the outside noise at the time, because I was focusing on what was going on inside my own home. And I was dealing with so much stuff that, yes, I could hear the noise outside, but I just was able to shift my focus to really the most important thing, which was my family.
Absolutely. And you talk about this obviously, as you said, the right time to share your story. Your boys are older as well. And you had that conversation with them. You talk about that in the book. And did you share have they read the book? How do you balance that sharing your side with the being private as well and protecting them?
Well, I mean, if we're being honest here, I don't think that our private lives has ever really been private, right? Not since me and Brittany got together. Everything's been out in the public, and speculation and rumors and all of these different things have been a part of this, it's been this ongoing soap opera, right? So for my kids, I think that, you know, and I've been doing press about this and talking about, we're tired of living the lie, right? And what I
Right.
mean by that is there's been so many opinions, so many things being said all the time, constantly, even still to this day after the book has come out, that it's
Mhm.
like I needed to put something set in stone in history. Like, if people want to get to know me or things that my family has been through, this book is a very good piece of information for that. And it was, I did it very, very respectfully, with a lot of compassion for everybody involved. I mean, it's not, I see a lot of things that are being said, and a lot of people think that it's like this hit piece, and it's not like that.
Right.
If you actually read it, and that's where, like, you go into the reviews of, like, the book reviews, and people that actually were going into it with this preconceived notion that this was just going to be a massive hit piece because of all the headlines that it's made. It's not that at all. It's really a story of a father that has tried to raise his kids the right way and raise decent human beings under the spotlight. I mean, it's my story.
You're absolutely right. I think people really go in and just reading everything about the book and reading the book and the aftermath is that there was a preconceived notion that people go in there like, oh, what is this guy gonna say? Right. And it's really a story as well. Yes, there are some bombshells in there, of course, but there is a story of fatherhood. And like you talk about what went on in your own home, like in your house with your kids. So how did you do that? How did you navigate what was going on inside your home? How were you protecting kids from news, from school? Like that has to be difficult.
It was, you kind of just take it one step at a time and really, I mean, it's one of those things where you can't hide from it, right? You can't
Right.
run from it. You have to face it. You have to teach your kids that, look, this is what life is going to be like for you. And I think that so many people deal with this type of stuff, no matter if you're famous or not, especially now with social media. It's like there are kids all over the country or the world that get bashed for doing something
Right.
dumb or even for not, right? I mean, so much bullying and all these different things that go on. And that's kind of part of what it was that we went through. So, I mean, it's very relatable to people out there just that use social media in that aspect. And it really taught me to, kind of shield my kids as long as I could from social media and the news. And still to this day, like they'll go on social media, but they're not paying attention to what all of the talk is, right? They are living their own lives, and that's a testament to what we have done for them is really kind of put them at the forefront and let them know that no matter what, they have to go out and they have to live their lives because they're not, you know, they were born into this. This
Right.
wasn't their choice, so it's like having to show them how to navigate their own life through all of this and know that they need to go and live their lives was like a really important detail for us as parents.
Right. I wanted to remind everyone you can get a signed copy of Kevin's book here on Talk Shop Live. So make sure you click that shop button. If you're watching on Instagram, go to the link in bio. You'll find a link there and you can purchase the book. I like what you said about social media because I think, especially when you first were with Brittany, there wasn't social media per se so much of the way it is now. And you were sort of thrust into this celebrity culture very quickly. Um, and I want to know because you talk a little bit about it in the book, and for those who are buying the book or are going to get a glimpse into it, what was it like for you to sort of jump into a Britney world? I mean, you were with the biggest pop star in the world,
Right.
and you weren't famous.
No. Yeah. Completely not at all. It was like overnight, right? It really, and I mean, in the book, I talk about, yes, I was overnight. It was like worldwide news. And not only did I become somewhat famous, I also became infamous, right? Because of the way that got into that situation with her. I left my girlfriend who was pregnant at the time, and a lot of things. And I reflect on that in the book, right?
Right.
But as far as fame goes, I mean, I think I explain it as like the most powerful drug there is known to man. I mean, it really, it's an eye opener. I mean, it was like immediately just getting thrust into a tornado of,
Yeah.
crap, and where it was fun, but at the same time it was dangerous. At the same, it's all these different things. So you're really feeling all these different emotions and really going through that like roller coaster of emotions too, especially like the way that it happened for me. It was so instant that I had to like look at this massive learning curve where I couldn't keep up with, right? Because you're realizing that all of these things are happening and you're seeing yourself on the news and you're seeing yourself in every magazine every day. But at the same time, you're in this relationship that you are like head over heels over this person for. And I mean, a lot of things. I was way in over my head, way in.
Did you feel like you lost yourself a bit in that hoopla?
I mean, at times, you feel, I mean, I always look at it like ego, right? And
Right.
that yes, there were times where my ego definitely got the best of me. But also I take that like all of the things that I've been through in my life, I try to take things as lessons. And so I was able to kind of learn from all of these different things, and it helps shape who I am today, and the father I became, and the things, and understanding how the Hollywood side of the world works. I mean, it's just another piece to the puzzle, which also helped me in my parenting skills with my kids, because it's like I can help try to navigate that and actually try to keep them away from it as much as I possibly can, because it's just it's a treacherous business.
It really is. Okay, I'm going to jump into audience questions right now. So Chelsea says, can you talk about how you've approached helping your boys understand their mother's struggles while protecting them?
Yeah, I mean, that was something that, really didn't start coming to fruition for our sons until they were teenagers, right?
Right.
Because when they were too young to understand when they were little. I mean, you could tell that emotionally it was affecting them. But once they became teenagers and started really seeing and having memories that, will last lifetimes or a lifetime for them, that's whenever I was like, okay, for so long we tried to protect them from that situation, but then it became a point to where it was like, I need to literally kind of explain everything, right, from beginning to where we were current whenever they were teenagers. and,
Right.
and it was hard for them to understand because they were still so young. And I wasn't obviously I wasn't sitting there blasting their mom. I was just giving them the facts of from A to B.
Right.
And slowly over time, I mean, it took years, right? It took therapy. It took all of these things for our children to really grasp the whole concept of everything. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's their mom. They absolutely love their mom, right? I mean,
Right.
they always have, always will. It's instilled in them. That's it's something I've always wanted for them to have a connection with their mom the way I have with my mom, right? And
Right.
so balancing all of those things in the middle of everything else was a very difficult situation. But I think like honesty in this situation has been the greatest ally.
And you said in the book that part of writing this book, which actually took you years to do, ironically, you said that you thought about it for years and then would do it, and then you're like, not the time, then you would pick up. So it's almost like it took a certain amount of time for you to write it. But you said one of the intentions that you had while writing was for them to reconnect.
Right.
You did it as a way to sort of mend.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's really impossible to actually get to a place of healing if, like I've been saying, you're living the lie, right? So many people think that this situation has been one way and it's all been one-sided, but really the people that have been around this situation have been in it, especially our sons, as they've gotten older, can see clearly what is happening, right? So they see what the world thinks that they know, and then they know what they actually know. And that's where I'm talking about living the lie. It's like,
yes,
what they are seeing inside of this bubble is what's really going on, right? And those are the situations that they are learning to cope with and deal with, and they still are trying to find a way to mend a bond between their mom. And I think that it's definitely a possibility. I know that a lot of people think that this book hurts that situation, but we've done everything else, right? I mean, that's what people don't understand. Like, we've tried every single thing. And when you're dealing with a situation like this, if I have to be the bad guy and everybody has to hate me, well, so be it. I'll do that for my kids to be able to have a relationship with their mother.
That takes that takes a lot of courage to say. I mean, especially since I know you've been doing a lot of the promo for the book, and the book is out, everyone's reading it. And then there are the comments from Brittany herself, who's like, he's humiliating me, you're gaslighting me, you're hurting me. When you read that and you see that, how, as a man,
Wait, say the last part again. You were cutting out.
does it become challenging when you hear her come with statements like, "Oh, he's gaslighting, humiliating, being hurtful, like this is all lies"?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody. If you read the book, you can clearly tell that that's not my character, right? I'm not out here to try and hurt anybody. I don't want, but at the same time, the truth has to be told, and I understand, and I understand the situation that, you know, people who are in that situation are going to
Right.
push everybody that cares about them away, no matter what. Right. And that's why I say, if I have to be the bad guy over here standing
Mm-hmm.
on a mountain of truth against everybody, then I will. Right.
Right.
Because I do care. That is why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for my kids, because I don't want my kids to have to do this. So I understand that it hurts. Truth hurts. Sometimes it really does. But at the same time, like, it has to be said, because there's so many lies and so much BS out there about this whole situation that, you know, my kids can't get past that, and now they don't have to. Now I'm here. I'm
Oh,
telling.
that's got to be difficult. Have you heard from her since the book came out, or is that a conversation that you're not ready to have yet?
No, we haven't talked specifically, but I know that she's talked to our sons, and which is good. You know, I mean, I'm really hoping that through all of this, right, through all this turmoil, through all of it, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I see it, but it's going to be a difficult road, and you know, it's going to take time. I mean, the first thing I think that needs to happen is the addiction part of it has to go. You
Right.
know, I'm very sensitive to her mental illness, but you can't do anything without it, you know, getting through the addiction.
Let me remind everyone there is so much more to this story. Please get a copy of the book, a signed copy here on Talk Shop Live. Click the shop button if you're watching on Kevin's Instagram. Go on the link in bio to get your book there. You were very open, because I'm another one that was out there, and I'm sure you've heard it. Is like, oh, he just needs a check. We're gonna write this book because he needs a check and running out of money. And you literally laid it out. You put the finances in there, and you did that on purpose for that exact reason. So I'm sure that that noise is in your head, and you heard that, and there was just like literally you were like, "Here's the paper. Here it is. This is what I got." You know, this is not like you didn't just walk out here with like,
Right. Well, I mean, look, anytime you are become famous or any part of celebrity, any of that, it always becomes about money, right?
right,
And you know, I'll admit, like, whenever I was in my early 20s, before me and Brittany got together, even maybe when we first got together, like, money was a very big topic in my mind, right? Not the reason why we were together, but being able to have money like that, yes, it was different, right? It's a huge stress reliever. You don't have to worry about paying bills. You can have anything you want. You feel like you're on top of the world.
right,
All of those things, right? Everything that I feel like society today, it's all about, right? That's what everybody sits there and looks at. But that was 20 years ago.
right,
What I've learned through this process of being famous, infamous, whatever you want to call it, being, you know, loaded with money at times, what I've learned is it's kind of like the root of all evil. I mean, to be honest, you know, money, it doesn't buy you happiness, right?
right,
It can get you, you can take trips, you can have anything you want, all that. But if you're not truly happy inside, then I mean, look at it. I mean, there's some clear examples right here in this situation of what money is, right? Because obviously, I mean, look, I hate to say it, but it's like Brittany is super wealthy, but does she seem like she's super happy? You know what I mean? So for people to sit here and talk to me about money, cool. I understand. I get it. Everybody thinks I'm broke, but these are the same people that are sitting there telling me, these are the same people that are sitting there telling me, you're broke, go and get a job. All right. Well, if I went and got a job and was a B-list star on a TV show tomorrow for a major network, they'd all be calling that network to have me canceled. So which is it? What do you want? You know what I mean? It's those, you can't please those type of people. You can't please somebody that is one-sided and isn't willing to open up to listen to reason, right? I mean, especially in this story, it's like, would you rather not hear it from directly inside of the bubble? Like, I don't understand that. You know, everybody wants to make these conspiracy theories and they want to sit there and, you know, have their assumptions about what they think is X, Y, and Z. But really, I mean, you're getting it straight from the source right here, right?
right.
You heard it from her side as well. right? So I mean, why wouldn't you try to figure it out through the actual horse's mouth?
I think it's because people feel like they want a villain. And I guess for some reason you're just right. They want a villain because it's just like, oh, here's this. This is why this went like this is why this is gonna work.
Sorry, hold on real quick. I'm gonna
It's
have to
okay.
inside. She'll
In the meantime, while we get Kevin back, just remember you can shop the book and get a signed copy of the book here on Talk Shop Live. If you are watching on Instagram, make sure to go to the link in bio. You're going to get a link there so that you can purchase that book directly. There it is. You thought you knew, and we're here talking to Kevin about that. Yeah, so I think it's the idea of like it's probably easier to pinpoint and put the blame on someone because it's easier that way, especially since you haven't been vocal, as like you said. I mean, you've been quiet for the sake of your kids.
I mean, and that's it. That's why, like, for me, I can sit here and say, look, I'll be the bad guy in this, right? If it helps my kids get to a place where they're building a strong bond with their mom, cool. I'll be the bad guy. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't, I've been the bad guy for 20 years. So what's the difference?
Jason wants to know, what has been the hardest part for you of living this life of fame you never wanted?
Well, I wouldn't say I never wanted it, because obviously I moved to Hollywood as a dancer and I had dreams, but it was kind of God's way of showing me like, oh, you think you want this, I'm going to give it all to you in a way that you wouldn't ever even imagine and show you exactly what it is. And here we are 20 years later, realizing that moment where it's like, no, I don't want it. Wait, right. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Like was there something something you signed up for that you just really never wanted out of this life?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like the hardest part for you?
I mean, the hardest part is watching people that I love struggle, even with Brittany. I mean, people don't realize, like, it's been so long. They don't remember that 20 years ago in 2005 or 2004, before or even when our kids were born, like, there were some really good moments in my life there, right? There's things that I hold on to from those times. And there were really, really, really good moments in those times.
There was love. There was love.
It really was. Really was.
Absolutely. What do you say is your biggest accomplishment as a father? I mean, especially that Kevin, when you were like, if you had to compare that evolution of the Kevin that started in this relationship into that whirlwind, and then you had your boys, obviously you're a father of 4 other kids too, but you were starting that, and now the father that you are, I mean, you're an Uber dad, basically, driving around your kids everywhere, just living a different kind of life, but also a life that many people do not have eyes. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
I mean, my biggest accomplishment as a father, I think, is that who my children are, right? And what I've instilled in them through all of this. Like, if you really, and I tell people this all the time, if you want to judge me as a person, as a man, then just look at my kids, right? Like, all of my kids are incredible human beings. They care about everybody. They care about the world. A lot of them, sit there and wonder how they could change it for the better. And I think for me, that is my biggest accomplishment, is really, and that's something that I talk about in my book as well, where it's like, this was learned from generations of my family, watching how my grandparents were with my parents and their peers and my aunts and my uncles, and no matter what, split family or not, like, everybody was always welcome. I think I say that in the book. It's like, it's something that has progressed through my family history, and really I think that I've been able to pass that on to my children. Like, I know that my children are always going to put their best foot forward and really just be present for the people in their lives that they care about. Absolutely.
You also talk about that you do have a great relationship with your first wife, Shar, and the kids have a really connected sibling unit, which is incredible. And the other thing you talk about, which I think it's very difficult, I mean, we talk about like it's difficult for divorce, but I mean, your divorce is something else because obviously you're in a different realm, but you kept that line of communication open with Brittany's parents and sister for your sake of your children. again,
Yes.
because as you were at the same chapter where you're talking about how that connection was important through your family, you did the same because you weren't going to cut anybody off. So why do
Right.
you think that was important for your kids to see that? And again, the world doesn't know. We just know what we see in the media. We see the court dates. We see, oh, this one's not talking. The grandfather can't see this one, but yet there is an open line of communication here.
Yeah, I mean, it's important because that's family, right? And that's, you know, for me, it's like at the end of your life, when you are laying in your deathbed, like who are the people that are going to be there by your
Right.
bedside, right? And those are the people that should be involved in your life from day one. And that to me has always been very important. And like I said in the book, I talk about how, whenever Brittany's side of the family didn't get the kids because she didn't want to give them, to her family on her time, I would give up my time so they were there and being able to go on trips or go to Louisiana or do things with their grandfather and grandmother and aunts and uncles. It's very important to me. Like the whole structure of family doesn't matter what side, and I think that's another piece of like what I have learned through my family history and watching my grandparents. Like even though aunts and uncles of mine were divorced, or even my own parents. I mean, shoot, my parents were divorced for years and years and years, and my dad has always been welcome inside of my grandparents' house. I mean, shoot, we actually went to my grandparents. This was years ago. They're both passed now, but they're like 50th wedding anniversary. My dad, my mom Colette, and then my mom Julie, and all of my family went to this event. Me and Shar, even I think Corey was probably like 6 months old, and we all went to this event for my grandparents' 50th anniversary. And my parents had been separated for 20 years at least by that time.
Wow.
So, that's just kind of like instilled in who I am as a person. That's my family history. So, I mean, being able to pass that on to my kids is, like I said, that's probably the most important thing as a father.
Now, when you sit down and wrote the book, and you did the audiobook as well, but a lot of times when you speak to authors or someone who's doing their story, there's a lot of things that get relived. Were there parts that were more difficult for you to share than others? And do you feel like you shared everything you wanted to share? Or did you leave certain things out just said this is enough?
There's definitely things that were left out because obviously some things are too personal, I think, to share, maybe too hurtful for me or others. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few moments, having to revisit how I left Shar for Brittany. That was really tough, especially now that my kids are older. And I mean, obviously I've apologized a long time ago, but never really like a massive public apology the way that I did in this book, and I
Right.
apologize to my children
Yeah.
by telling them that I wasn't the man that I should have been, or wasn't the man that I wanted to be at that time, but I was young,
Right.
revisiting that. And then, a lot of the stuff that obviously that I know hurts Brittany as well. It hurts me too. Right. It hurts
Right.
me to have to talk about those things again. It hurts me to have to talk about custody battles and rehabs and all, conservatorships and all. It's not easy. It's not like it's hard. Those are
Right.
parts of my life where, I mean, me personally was in like the deepest depression that I think I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
Because I watched somebody I truly cared about spiral, and I didn't know what to do.
How did
Didn't
you
know.
come out of it?
My wife now,
Really?
Victoria. Yeah, she helped me. She sat with me for months. She got me out of it. I snapped out of it one day, and it's not like I didn't even know that I was in it until I was out.
Really? Did it feel that dark?
It was bad. Yeah. Just going through the motions, and like trying to raise your kids and do right by them, and making sure that was like the main focus for me. I think that's what kind of got me through. But I mean, like, I talk about the partying and the drugs and all that was part of it. All that was part of that deep depression that I was in. And even I didn't even realize that I was in it until, me and Victoria got together, and I mean, there were moments that she sat there listening to me cry and boohoo about Brittany and things and situation. And I mean, she stuck by my side through all of that. And this woman is the most amazing woman that I've ever met in my life.
What a gift to have that as well.
I mean, I really thank God every day. And I try to prove to her every day that she made the right choice.
You look at that Kevin, that dancer with all the dreams that came in, that had that passion and made it to Hollywood and did all the things. And you look at you now, Kevin, now writing that book and going through that process. What's the growth? Like what's the growth that you've seen? Is there an advice that you would give your younger self, looking back and been like, oh, I mean, I know that everything's led to this point, right? So it's hard. But I mean, you've lived a life. So
yes, I know. So even writing this book and like talking to family members and other people, friends about it, and just looking back, it's like, man, you really kind of lived the life of 1,000 men in one lifetime.
Yeah.
That really, and I'm thankful for it. Right. I don't really know what advice. I mean, for me, the main advice I think that I would give my younger self would just to be more upfront, right? Be more truthful, especially in this situations where with Shar and how I got into my relationship with Brittany and and be more honest with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very passive person. I mean, I have been in the past for a long time. And while that's good in certain ways because you're not really trying to hurt anybody, but at the same time, here I am now, like knowing that the only solution to a certain part of this problem, right? So I don't know, life is crazy. I thank myself for and my family and people that I talked to whenever I was younger, especially teenage years, and really kind of took life as it's a lesson. I mean, that's what it is, and you don't ever stop learning it. Like as long as you're living, you're learning, and so I try to abide by that because I feel like life has so much to teach all of us.
So then what does life look like for you now that the book's out?
I mean,
it's not a shabby place, Hawaii,
no.
Okay? Not a shabby place, but
no, I mean, the thing about the book is that beyond all the headlines and all of this stuff, right? Like this is a book from a man who has been silenced for 20 years. So I understand that a lot of these things are shocking to people and I get it, right? I get it. And it's not as shocking to me because I lived it. It's not as shocking to my family because they lived it. But for me, it really personally, I mean, I finally feel at peace with a lot of things that I haven't. So, if that's all that it winds up being, then that is what it is. I mean, I hope for more. I hope, obviously, like I've been saying, that, something happens on the other side where, my sons will be able to flourish in a relationship and have so many things. I feel like there's so much time that they've missed with their mom. So, I mean, that's something that's always going to be on my mind. Right. But, now that I've said my piece, I feel like, at some point I'm just step back. I mean, if you really want to know who I am, go and read the book because I promise you it's nothing like what the headlines are saying.
So then what is your takeaway from anyone who buys the book, picks up the book, or is like, I'm not going to get this book. I know what it is about. What do you hope the people who read from it take from it?
I mean, if anybody's doubting this book, I would just tell them to go and read the reviews because I'll be the first one to admit that I've gone through and read the reviews, like verified reviews of people that have actually read the book. And I mean, it really puts a smile on my face, especially people that have been so hard on the Brittany side. And after they've read it, I mean, just go read the reviews. I mean, if you think anything, if you have any doubts about this book, just go read the verified reviews. I mean, that'll do all of it for you.
Was there a little part of you that was like, I told you so?
No. I don't look gloating. I'm way too old to be doing that. It's not that. I really I hope support for my kids, right? Like
Right.
that's all that I really want. I really want people to realize that, like, who cares who's right or wrong, right? Like, look at the situation for what it
Absolutely.
is, and like, move forward. Because if you keep digging in the past, and I know that I had to talk about the past to get to where we are right now, but it's like time. It's time to move forward. It's time for people to support and step up and actually, like, get behind something that's going to make change in the situation, because nothing is changing right now, not on that side of it.
And you're always actively trying to help behind the scenes.
I mean, I'll always try to actively help my kids. That's all I can do. I'll always be here for my kids no matter what. And I feel like that was a big part of why I stepped up and screamed to cry for help, right? It's not
Right.
about me, it's about my kids.
All right. So the book is out. We're done. I'm going to remind people one more time to shop that book. My
Yeah,
coffee you can get here on Talk Shop Live. You're on Instagram. You can go on the link and get the book. So the book's out. The book's out there. You said your piece. You're taking a step back. So then, what does life look like for Kevin on a day to day? What are you going to do?
well, like we said before we jumped on, I'm Uber dad right now, right? I got kids in like 20 different sports on the ice. Crazy. No, I'm working on a few things. And, I just really, I love the community here. So I'm really going to try to find my place within that, right? I mean, there's a lot of things here that are pretty amazing, and something that I think I could get some support behind and be a part of. So I'm gonna really start pushing that forward.
Amazing. Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us on Talk Shop Live. Thank you for sharing your side of the story and being vulnerable with us. We appreciate it. And again, for everyone watching, get the book. It's a great book from Kevin's point of view. Please make sure it's signed. So get that, and you're on Instagram. Go on the link and get it. Kevin, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy that beautiful day behind you.
Oh yeah. All right.
Bye.
Take care.